One message for you from your aunt. She will bust both of you in the head. Can y'all hear me?
Not rocket science,
I think you, like me, have a face for radio.
Can y'all hear me?
We gonna play with the players we got. Next man up.
That's why it sucks.
I'm not talking to you.
I'm not talking to you.
This kind of unprofessionalism does not need to be tolerated. I mean it. Like,
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
what the hell is going on here? Just all hang up.
Another episode of the BS Podcast.
Hang on.
Moran.
Hang on. There's all kinds of noise in my ear now.
Oh, jeez.
We need a little bit more professionalism.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, roll tide. Welcome back to another episode of the BS Podcast. And my goodness, Bama got rocked today. They got rocked today. And man, I got to tell you what, plenty of respect for Indiana. They just dog walked Alabama. My goodness, it was terrible. So I'm in the hunt for Alabama's press conference coming up here. I want to bring you Alabama versus Indiana. I'm waiting for the press conference to come up here. Looks like I might be Mr. Solo because no one is going to join the old Q-Dog. But I'm here because I said I would be here. I'm here because it's the right thing to do. I'm here to face the music as a disappointed Alabama fan as Alabama gets embarrassed in California 38-3 by the Indiana Hoosiers. And I'm taking a ride to California tomorrow, and I will be wearing this Alabama hat because that's the way that I get down. I'm not a fair weather fan. We were atop of college football for many, many, many years, and that's just the way that life goes. So as soon as Kalen DeBoer comes up here, we will we'll see here. Hold on just a minute. Let me see if I can find anything. Really hated to see Ty Simpson go down. Austin Mack looked pretty good, but, Alabama even gets denied a touchdown, which is just incredibly embarrassing. So hopefully we get some kind of a, let's see here, post-game press conference. Here we go. Well, it looks like it's not going to happen until 7 p.m. Well, I'm probably not going to stick around for that long. But we will see what happens. Your thoughts, instant reaction on Alabama getting embarrassed in the Rose Bowl. Man, hard to watch, but you've got to have a lot of respect for that Indiana football team and what they were able to accomplish. They are for real. And over again, you might hear some Alabama fans, say, well, they haven't played anybody. Well, it's impossible to say that now unless Alabama is not an anybody because, my goodness, they laid the wood to the Crimson Tide. It looked in the beginning like Alabama was going to have a good day defensively. But the difficult part is if you cannot sustain drives and score points as an offense, then your defense is going to get exploited. And I think they did a great job of that. I just found it was interesting that, we would have some success moving the football, and then we would change or shift gears into something that was not productive, something that wouldn't work. And I'm not there. I'm not seeing what the coaches see. But if you are getting 4 and 5 yards a pass, and I know this is Monday morning quarterbacking, but why not continue to do what works? Why not build momentum on what's working? And so there are just many things that I look at and I say, hey, man, I don't understand the philosophy of our offense. I don't understand why this team can't make strides forward, why the offensive line play is so abhorrent, why we can't block. We have a huge offensive line, but for some reason we cannot find a way to block a defense and run the football. And I truly think that Alabama today, I think Alabama today, you're right, Jim. Nothing worked. Roll Tide, sir. It is what it is. But I think today our one-dimensional offense truly got exploited. And I mean, it's really hard to understand. You're a team, you can't run the football. You have a body of work to show that running the football is not what we do. I understand trying it, but what did you think about that second series? Run it up the middle twice and then try to pass. I mean, I think when I looked at Alabama's average there as the third quarter was winding down, we had an average of 9 yards on third down. And that is not obviously a winning recipe. We struggled to tackle them on the first point of contact. We struggled to, get Mendoza down when we had him in dangerous positions, and it just did not work today. And I had a lot of faith in our defense, but the more our offense sputtered, the more it was reminiscent of what it looked like against Georgia. And I don't know where we found what we found when it came to OU, but I'm glad we beat them. Josh and our wives are going up to Norman to watch Alabama play basketball this month on my birthday, as a matter of fact. And so I'm thankful that we beat them, so at least we can walk in there with our head held high. But otherwise, oh, wow. Hold on just a minute, please. There are no live access events scheduled at this time. Are we not doing a press conference? What are we doing here? Alabama post-game presser. Let me see if it's anywhere else. Yeah, I don't. All right, folks. I'm just looking here in real time to see if there's anything we have so you don't have to continue to listen to me. Yeah, I don't really see anything. I wonder why they canceled the press conference. Why are we not going to sit and talk about what just happened? I don't know. That's disappointing. So any more thoughts from you guys? I'm going to stick around for just a few minutes. Would love to hear, what you have to say. Jim, thanks for being here and tuning in. And, it's Jim, I wouldn't do one either after that drubbing. Yeah, I'm here. I didn't just get embarrassed, but I'm not even equating myself to what Alabama just went through. But I just think that you got to come out and sit and talk about what it is and feel the pain and remember moments like this and find out what is the next iteration of my coaching experience look like from Coach DeBoer's standpoint. Because I really think, I look at the way that we performed this season. It seemed like every win against a team in the top 25 or a team, a Power 5 team, every win save the Wisconsin win seemed like it was a struggle for us. And so we need a solution for that. And one of the primary solutions is going to be upgrading your staff and your plan in order to run the football. You have coaches making millions of dollars a year. You have a loaded roster. yet there is no answer for running the football. And yeah, we had some bright spots where we ran the ball, but we did nothing with consistency this year. So in regards to running the football. So I know our team is embarrassed. We had a great run, and this next era of, Alabama football is the jury's out. And I wonder this too, how many people are out thinking about what Damian Harris had to say after this particular performance? Guys, I'm sorry that things are a little weird here and that I'm sort of distracted. I'm baffled that we're not going to have a post-game press conference. And I wonder what that's about. Let me see if there's any kind of audio that I can find, maybe on Jocks or anything. And I'll see what the word is. I'm sure they got a little bit of information going on. Maybe that'll help us. No, Greg, we're not going to work on that. I don't see. No, listen live. All right, let's see what they have to say. I'm going to share this with you guys so you can hear. Maybe we got something going on here. Okay, we're back. We're back with 7 p.m. So I guess that's what we're gonna do. So I reckon we won't stay around for that long. I don't have much to say as I run through this particular episode. It's an embarrassment for sure. It's really hard for me though to listen to the narrative out there that Alabama wasn't prepared, because I simply do not agree with that. I believe that Alabama was prepared for this game. I think Indiana outcoached our football team, outcoached our coaching staff. I think they had more of a sound game plan. They appeared to use the KISS principle, which is to keep it super simple. And what did they do? They looked at where Alabama was weak with consistency throughout the season. They said, okay, look, we have, 12, 13 games. Let's take out the games that are, the nothing burgers. Maybe look at a little bit of Wisconsin. But as we got deeper into the season and Alabama struggled, they had what they needed. And I think that Georgia game was crucial for them to see where they could exploit us. And they just did the basic things very well with great consistency. And that obviously wins football games. I mean, they're undefeated. Before this, it's talking about, well, look at the level of competition that they've played. Well, everybody they played and beat looks better. And there's this deal out there, with the SEC, it just means more. Look at the performance during bowl season and let me know if you think it means more. It doesn't. Because if it did, these teams would be prepared, and they would be prepared and they would execute on the field, because there would be a sense of pride for the league. But I don't believe we can say that it means more anymore. And look, you might stand here and say, well, look at how many teams we had in the playoffs. That's a fair point. I won't argue that. But the difficulty is that how we perform against these other leagues. We beat each other up, with interleague play. But what does it look like when we are put against another brand or another league on the field? I look at that Miami game last night with Miami and Ohio State, and I go, okay, Texas A&M, you're better than we thought. We might have made fun of you because you couldn't score a touchdown or, whatever in the first round of the playoffs. But that Miami defense, that Texas A&M defense looks extremely physical. And I feel like our defense looked physical at times as well. But when you can't sustain drives, your offense can't sustain drives on the field, and you're fumbling the football, and what happens? Your defense gets absolutely worn out. So it's frustrating, but it's football, and that's why you play the game. And so what's next for Alabama? What's next for the Crimson Tide? What looks different next year? I mean, if we look at year 1 to year 2 for Coach DeBoer, what looked different? What was improved? The struggle win scenario was there. We thought that Ryan Grubb was going to be the solution. And it just didn't look a whole lot different than Coach Sheridan's performance. It's easy to scrutinize things when you're not out there on the field, but we are observing the product on the field. And so what's next? I don't know. I don't know how they regroup. I did believe at the beginning of the season, even after, Florida State beat Alabama, maybe in similar fashion as Indiana did tonight, that Coach DeBoer could evolve, he could grow, and he did, and he won more, and he got into the playoffs. He won the first round of the playoffs in a hostile environment on the road with who I believe to be a good Oklahoma football team. But it appears that Indiana is playing at a much, much different level than the Crimson Tide, and that was on display tonight. And so as you look at the other side, you got 2 more SEC teams facing off against each other. You got Georgia and you have Ole Miss. What does that look like? That's measuring 2 teams that have already played one another. The word is that it's hard to beat a team twice in one season. But Lane Kiffin is no longer at Ole Miss. So now you have Pete Golding against Kirby Smart. I think the matchup favors Kirby Smart. So then you're going to have, let's say Georgia goes on to win, even though I think Ole Miss is going to play inspired to show Lane Kiffin that, you know what, you're not here, but we believe we can win anyway. But let's say for argument's sake that Georgia goes on and then they're going to play Miami. They beat Miami. And then, for a second time in a row, which means both teams, Georgia and Indiana, have to play teams that they've already played during the season. Both teams win, and then they meet in the national championship. Is Georgia going to get embarrassed against Indiana, and the Cinderella season is completed, undefeated and champs? Or what does it look like? What brand of SEC football does it look like when Georgia shows up? If it's Georgia, maybe it's Miami. Maybe we are the laughing stock after this, and the ACC, and the Big Ten are over there in the championship, and we are left outside looking in thinking, okay, what's next? So time will tell. I love great competitive football games. I have nothing but respect for the way that Indiana went out and put their talents and their skills and their abilities and their coaching philosophy on display. Love Coach DeBoer and want him to evolve and get better. But I'm not sure what looks different next year. I'll have to be an observer, just like you. I have to be an observer and see what happens. Obviously, as much as we as a fan base are not satisfied, the guys that actually put the work in, the guys that are on the field, the coaching staff that we talk about not being prepared and getting out coached, the players that we talk about not being prepared and not putting the work in while we're probably sitting in front of the television with our feet up, and enjoying family time and Christmas. And those guys are out there in the grind and getting things done. Those guys, they're not satisfied, and they're going to want to figure out what the heck is going on. So let's see what we got here. Let's see if Coach DeBoer.
We're going to go ahead and get started. We're joined by head coach Kalen DeBoer, Jeremy Bernard, and Tim Keenan. I'm going to ask Coach DeBoer to give a quick statement about today's game, and then we'll open up the floor for questions. Please raise your hand and state your name. A media outlet when asking a question. We have 2 mic holders on the sides. Coach DeBoer, an opening statement, please.
Yeah, first of all, you just got to give a tip of the hat to, Indiana and just everything that they did today in the game. And, I think for us, it's a lot of emotions right now, shared in the locker room. We can be upset, because losing doesn't sit well with us. And, we can be, frustrated about it, but and that's what our program's going to be, is upset when these type of situations happen, and we've got to use it to fuel us moving forward. I think also, obviously, but I'm going to be proud. I'm going to be proud of these guys and proud of who they are and what we accomplished this year. We came up short of our goal, and I think the other emotion would be just sad for the guys, and these are going to be 2 of them right here. Hard to look them in the eye, because emotions that go through me when I think about what they've given to me and given to this program every single day, everything they got. And so our guys, going back to a year ago, we're all in, and they, committed to each other. They committed to, this season, and it showed up in the actions. It wasn't just actions that happened this fall. It happened every single day going back to early January. So again, frustrated, upset, and, it doesn't sit well with us, but, after today, all we can do is move on.
Thank you, Coach. We're actually going to start with questions for either student athlete. Please raise your hand. We have a question here in the front. Mike's coming your way.
Yeah, for Jeremy, just reflecting on your decision to follow Coach DeBoer from Washington to Alabama, just how happy are you that you made that decision? What have these 2 years at Alabama meant to you?
Yeah, it's been one of the best decisions that I've made. It's been a long journey for me, and I'm just grateful, that Coach DeBoer allowed me to have the opportunity to first come back to Washington and then, follow him, here to the University of Alabama. He's made a big impact on my life, and, he has been helping me grow, not just as a football player, but, as a young man, growing up, in this crazy world. He has a, he's a great leader, and he's only helped me, elevate in my career.
Another question here on the left.
Yeah, for Tim, the football's played at the line of scrimmage so often. How would you assess the way you guys played with that Indiana front that seemed to do pretty well today?
Yeah, Indiana did a great job of, playing their game and stuff like that. Evidently, I wasn't good enough to do my job better. So defense, we didn't make the stops that we needed to and stuff like that. So they capitalized on our mistakes. But, Indiana had a great plan for us, and they executed well.
We have another question here in the middle, right there.
For both of you guys, all during the week and talking about Indiana, you guys gave them a lot of credit for what you saw on film and such. But was there anything at all that surprised you about what they did today, or was it stuff you had seen that you just didn't handle as well as you wanted to?
No, not necessarily. We've done a great job of watching film. Our coaches did a great job at putting a great game plan, together for us. But it just comes down to us being able to execute, and we didn't execute to our best abilities. And like Tim said, they just capitalized off all the mistakes we made, and it made it a rough game for us.
Yeah, pretty much what he said. They came out, they did what they had to do.
We have another question here in the front.
Katie Wyndham from Bama Central. For both players, just what are you going to remember about this team and this season?
I'd say, our motto this year was unbreakable. I think that our team is very resilient. We trust and believe in each other. We always have faith in each other. I'm just going to remember how resilient this team is and, how our brotherhood was.
Yeah, same. How we handle adversity at times and stuff like that. I really appreciate these group of guys. I'd go to war with them again if I had to. But yeah, that's what I have to say about this team. The love that we play with, the brotherhood that's there, and it's really a family there.
Do we have any other questions for Jeremy or for Tim? Okay, thank you guys.
I just want to give glory to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for allowing us to have this opportunity, for allowing this team to, be here together in California to, enjoy this moment. Even though it didn't go the way we wanted, it's still a lot to be grateful for. Guys like, TK, he went through injury and was able to play throughout the season. So guys were able to, play in this game that weren't healthy, throughout the whole year. And we're able to walk off the field healthy. So it's just a lot to be grateful for. And I just want to give glory to Jesus Christ for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank God always.
Thank you, guys. Okay, we'll take questions for Coach DeBoer. First one will come from here in the front left.
Love that, Jeremy. Thank you, bro. Shout out to Jesus Christ winning.
Hey, Coach. Nick Hamilton, Nightcast Media. You spoke about just going through adversity throughout the season. Obviously, today's game didn't end the way you wanted. So how do you take this, and fuel this to next season as far as some of the feelings and the emotions that you're going through right now?
Yeah. Hit on that. You got guys that are moving on and it's the last game they play here and got careers at the next level. And then you got guys that you want to start laying the groundwork for, the future. And I know because I've been doing this long enough and I have experiences that I can fall back on, that the fine line between what we had out there today and being at the very top is such a fine line, and you got to go back to starting over from scratch with putting the people around you, the right people, committing to something, a common goal together, and the actions following it. And so it's such a fine line. You may not feel like it when you're in this moment right now and what happened today, but I can tell you it's a fine line between being here and being at the top. But we got to do the work. We got to put the work in. You got to believe. You got to be consistent. You got to have discipline. And
did you hear those words?
Start all over again.
The right people.
Question from the middle of the jean jacket.
That tells me a little something about the future of where
JoeGoodmanAO.com. Kalen,
wow.
What were you thinking on that fourth down call, and could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, just felt like it was going to be one of those games where you got to take advantage of possessions, and obviously, when you fall short, it's the wrong decision, right? We don't get the first down, give them a shorter field. They make a nice play on third down, nice throw and catch. And, it's a belief. It's a belief in the guys on offense, it's a belief in the guys on defense that worst case scenario, we can hold them to a field goal. And obviously didn't work out that way. But, I try not to be reckless, but try to be aggressive. And wanted to make sure, and you saw we put a group out there, did the punt / try to hard count, just giving me a little more time to think about what my decision would be, get some of the guys on the sideline to talk through the play call. And so, I really felt like even during that point, I was committed to going for it and wanting, to try to, make it happen. And again, that's where you gotta be careful as a head coach when you make those decisions, because it can go the other way. But, I think, just looking at the game, we had to take advantage of every possession for it to end up the way we wanted to. And so, that was one of them.
We have time for two. We have time for two more questions. We'll take one from the front left right there.
Coach, Steve Futterman from NPR. I want to ask you, obviously, there have been some great moments this year for this team and some difficult moments like today, and you've been involved with some great moments in your career. I was wondering if you could take a step back and tell us what you think of this Indiana team. They're number one. They haven't been beaten. How good is this team?
Yeah, they're very good, because I think we have a good team. And they did a nice job. Led with a trigger man, made the throws and third down conversions, just kept them on the football field. They, continued to wear us down at the end of the game with the run game. They just execute on a high level, and everyone feeds off each other, and it's both sides of the ball. It's not just one thing. You got to tip your hat to Coach Signetti and what he's done here. And obviously they're all aligned and doing a good job, executing. And that's what they did today.
Okay, our last question will come from the front right here.
With the Tuscaloosa News, Coach, could you just speak to the quarterback change, Ty's toughness, and then how you thought Austin played?
Yeah, Ty had an injury, obviously, and he really wanted to try to go out there, and we treated him there at halftime, and he gave it a series. And just I know he feels like he let down the team, and there's no way that that's the case. He went out there and tried to battle, and that's who he is. And so I'm never going to let that be a thing where he let us down in any way. And so making sure he knows that, and Austin being ready to go. He did some nice things when he got on the football field there tonight, and just getting put in a tough spot when you're trying to catch up, and it's the third quarter already. So again, proud of all of our team, but that was the situation with Ty.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there was our opportunity to hear from Coach DeBoer, and I've got this lineup here, not verbatim, but I've got this lineup here, and he talks about, and I'll get to your comments in just a minute, but he talked about having the right people around them. That was preceded by the line between where we are now and the line at the top is a fine line, which is something that I truly agree with. It's something I agree with. I definitely agree with that statement. And then after that is when he said this, and I'm paraphrasing here, even though it's in quotations, he said, paraphrasing, getting the right people around us. And I wonder if that's telling of the coaching staff, the offensive line, and their lack of ability to execute, the running backs and their lack of ability to execute. And I'm not talking bad about the people. I'm talking about the play that was on the field. And that's part of sports. The offensive game plan. I just wonder if Coach DeBoer is going to take a hard look at who's coaching his QBs, and then who's making the play call, and then if he's going to go fish. I don't know what that's going to look like. Does Coach Grubb, being acclimated to the game, the college game here in Tuscaloosa, does he make that year 2 jump like Coach Womack did? Or do we have more of the same? Because I really felt like we turned a corner in that Oklahoma game. Much different defense, much different team. But then I saw a bit of a regression back to what we were doing through the season during this game. And so Kriegel says, in the past, when people doubt us or when we are an underdog, we usually prove them wrong, or at least put up a great fight. I don't think we can do that under this leadership. Woo, that's tough words, but I'm glad you shared them. Jim Phillips, in layman's terms and layman's talk, time to hand out some walking papers. And that is exactly how I read that, Jim. I read that as in he needs to evaluate where he is and what is going to help this football team achieve the expectations that he has and what he set out to do here, at Alabama. He is a coach that players love. It's obvious in how they talk about him. He's a coach that players will play hard for, but it's imperative that when you have a coaching staff, that you have the right people in the right places, and this might not be a good fit for everybody. And so being that Coach DeBoer, loves it here in Tuscaloosa, he is a guy who wants to succeed at a high level. He has very, very high expectations of himself. You could see that by his track record. he's going to have to make some hard decisions. And to me, it's difficult because we've seen some times where maybe Ty should have come out earlier. He wanted the game. But as a Monday morning quarterback coach like myself, there were times in the season where I felt like he should pull Ty out and get Max some time, just a series to give, Ty some time to settle. But that's all outside. I've been on the sideline coaching football at the high school level for almost a decade. So I know there are things going on, and there's meetings that you have, and you have contingencies. But I got to say, in order to redefine the path, and look, we're here at the quarterfinals, played an undefeated team at number 9. We played number 1, and they put a whipping on us. But in order to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, whether it's in football or whether it's in life, you have to evaluate what it is you're doing and then what you're willing to do to achieve your goals. And Coach DeBoer is going through that now. You can tell he feels horrible. He feels like he let the team down. And as the head coach, you have to own that, because there might have been something you could do to get them better prepared. That's the ownership you take. And the players have taken ownership as well. Those 2 guys that were at the table seemingly have great character, and they will be moving on to the next iteration of their career. So it's a sad way to end the season. It's embarrassing to get smoked out. Indiana fans talked a whole lot of trash, which I'm sure Alabama fans did too. And here's the thing. They called their shot, and like Babe Ruth, they backed it up. So, as they say on some of these rap albums, put some respect on my name. Indiana, you have my respect, because you did it. Now, look, we as Alabama fans, if we're being honest, we knew we were one-dimensional. We knew that, at least in the discussions that I've had, I felt like being in this round of the playoffs, we were on house money. And if we played a complete game, we had an opportunity to go to the next round. And I'll take nothing away from Indiana, because they smoked us. They dog-walked us. They took us behind the woodshed. Any other phrase that I could come up with, they did it. But I felt like it was at house money. Got the 10 wins, beat Auburn again, got to the SEC championship. We got smoked. But then, we got into the playoffs. We won a game in the playoffs, and we got smoked out in the second round. So there is a trend moving forward, but you have to sit back and imagine. You have to think about this. What if we were decent at running the football with consistency? What does that look like? So I think that's where Coach DeBoer is going to go, and he's going to evaluate some things. He's a very, very loyal man, much like myself. But hey, pray for him in the future of the program and his career and what that's going to look like. And we will do just that. Happy New Year, everybody. This is not the way you want to start the new year, unless you're an Indiana fan. But now it's time, 24 hours and move on. The sun will still come up tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar. Thank you guys for hanging out with me as we talk about this embarrassing defeat. I'm heading to California tomorrow to go visit my mom, and I will be donning the Crimson Tide, and I'll take the ridicule. You know why? Because for years I took the hate from behind me, because we were the best program in college football for a long time. We were spoiled rotten, and we took it for granted, some of us. And now I'm not a fair weather fan. I'm going to live it. Roll Tide, everybody. Hey, listen, 2026, I don't know what it's about for you. We're going to have a lot of fun at the BS podcast. So we're looking to get some of you guys on the program. So if you want to be a part of the program, I think what we're going to do is we're going to continue the show. We're going to talk about some other sports. We're going to talk about college basketball. We're going to talk about softball, maybe some baseball, et cetera. So we're going to look to continue this on between or beyond football season. So your interaction is what makes this show so much more fun. To me, it looks like the receivers are slow and the cornerback play soft. You know, Brother Kriegel, I just might have seen that this year or this game, but it felt like when that happens, it feels like it's a matter of confidence. And to start the game, our defense was on fire. But then our offense came out and struggled again. And that was all too telling. Brad Richardson, roll tide, brother. Roll tide. Can't keep a good man down. Brian Kriegel, roll tide. We've been here before, but who knows where we're about to go. Enjoy your time, and we love you. Thank you for being a part of the BS podcast. You know who I am. I'm the only man in the studio. Look at me. I came in solo. Where's everybody else? Thank you for being here, showing up with the Q Dog. Where's these other BS podcast folks? Ain't nobody coming and sitting in front of you but the Q Dog. We're gonna let them have it next time we see them. All right, we're gonna let these cats have it. But until the next time, be sure to check out Man vs. Marriage, the podcast. Go to QuincyMoran.com/apparel. Get some gear. You can get some BS podcast gear too. Rock that while you're out there. Anyway, God bless you. May the Lord bless you. May he keep you. May his face shine upon you. May 2026 be the richest in blessing, in connection, in family, in friendship that you have yet to see. And here's the beauty of it. You get an opportunity to influence that. Happy New Year and be safe. And I will. They wiping tears. Yep. Indiana wiping tears of joy. And Bama wiping tears of misery. We're out. God bless you. The Q-Dog is out. Roll tide, everybody.
One message for you from your aunt.
Uh-huh.
She will bust both of you in the head. You y'all hear me?
It's not rocket science, you know.
I think you, like me, have a face for radio.
Can y'all hear me?
We gonna play with the players we got. Next man up.
That's why it sucks.
I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you.
This kind of unprofessionalism does not need to be tolerated. I mean it. Like,
you y'all hear me? You y'all hear me? You y'all hear me? You y'all hear me?
what the hell is going on here? Just all hang up.
Another episode of the BS podcast.
Hang on.
Moran.
Hang on. There's all kinds of noise in my ear now.
Oh, jeez.
We need a little bit more professionalism.